Ever feel like you're stuck trying to be perfect?
Huh?
Especially when it comes to love.
Yeah.
Well, get ready, because today we're diving into Chapter 6, Embracing Imperfections, from the book Love Lessons from the Forgotten Coast.
Hmm.
And this chapter, it takes a surprising turn, starting way back in 1788 with a woman named Isabel who had a different take on beauty.
Interesting. Using history to explore these timeless ideas.
Right. Like back then, things were built to last, you know?
Yeah,
And the chapter describes Isabel walking through her seaside town, appreciating the worn beauty
I like that.
of the fishing boats, the old lighthouses, even the faded paint on those market stalls. It's like she sees their history, the stories behind every imperfection.
Right.
And then she asks her husband this question, really sets the scene. Do you see it too? The beauty in the things that aren't perfect, the way the cracks let the light through.
It's like she's reaching through time asking us to look at imperfection differently.
It's so true.
Because let's be real, today we're flooded with perfection, online especially.
Everywhere you look.
And studies show that seeing these perfect versions of ourselves and others, it hurts our self-esteem.
It does.
Makes us chase something that's impossible to reach.
And that pressure to keep up appearances, it's exhausting. It affects everything we do, our work, our relationships.
You're right, it gets to everything. And that's where the book's comparison to the coastal town comes in.
Yeah, it's more than just liking how imperfection looks, right?
Right, it's about what those imperfections represent. Like, think of the cracks in the lighthouse walls
I see what you mean.
or the weathered boards on the boats. They tell a story of making it through storms, of standing strong.
Hmm.
And just like those things, our flaws, our imperfections, they tell our story. They make us who we are.
So we should see those imperfections as something that makes us interesting, unique, not something to hide.
Exactly.
But that's easier said than done, right?
Absolutely. It takes effort, which is why the chapter introduces this self-compassion meditation.
Yes. This really clicked with me. Have you found this meditation helpful?
I have, yeah. But it's more than just the meditation itself. It's the message behind it.
What do you mean?
It's about treating ourselves with the same kindness we give a good friend. We all have flaws, mess up, but that doesn't mean we aren't worthy of love.
Especially from ourselves.
Well, that-
It's like we're finally allowed to be human, with all our little quirks.
Yeah.
But I've always struggled with that, letting myself be seen, flaws and all. Like, what if people don't like it?
It's definitely a vulnerable thing.
It is.
But the chapter says this self-compassion, this accepting our imperfections, it changes how we treat the people we love, too.
Oh, absolutely. Once you stop being so hard on yourself, it's easier to give others a break.
Exactly. Imagine trying to have a good relationship when you're terrified of showing any flaws.
Right. You can't really be close to someone like that.
It creates a wall.
Yeah.
But when we accept ourselves, it opens up space to be vulnerable for us and our partners.
That makes sense. Like we're giving them permission to be themselves too.
Precisely. The chapter says that when we can be authentic, flaws and all, that's how we connect on a deeper level.
It's like finally feeling seen and accepted for who you really are.
Exactly.
It's like we can finally relax and just be ourselves together. And isn't that what real love is? Accepting each other, even the messy parts.
Absolutely. It's about loving the whole person, not trying to change them.
That reminds me of what Isabel said at the beginning about the cracks letting the light in.
Yeah.
When we embrace those imperfections in ourselves and each other, it's like we're letting more light in, more love.
That's a great way to put it. This chapter has really made me think about how I see relationships,
Me too.
It's so easy to get caught up in chasing perfection,
It really is.
but it's in those imperfect human moments that we connect.
It's true. We're all a little rough around the edges, and that's okay. It's what makes us real.
Right.
And this deep dive, it's reminded me that those little quirks, those things that make us different, those are the things that make us lovable.
I love that. And there are even more love lessons in this book.
Oh, there are.
Yeah, really thought-provoking stuff. But before we go, I wanted to leave you with this. If our imperfections are part of what makes us lovable, could focusing on someone's good qualities because of their flaws change how we see our relationships?
Wow. Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone.